Close your eyes for a second and imagine your office building without oxygen. Everything looks fine, the desk, the screen, the people, nothing has moved, nothing has changed. But after a few seconds, after a few minutes, everything stops because the invisible element that binds, sustained it all is gone. That is exactly APIs are to modern ERP systems. It is a digital oxygen. I have spent fair enough of my technical experience integrating Oracle systems to legacy system, binding it across multiple legacy systems. And for fair amount of my time, API has been reliable and a better option, yet we barely talk about them. Until one day, I asked a question that seemed really absurd. What if APIs are gone? Simply gone. The answers I found changed how I think about enterprise architecture, and more importantly, they revealed something very profound, that where we are all headed towards technical architecture. Today, I want to take you through the same thought experiment about API and how they exist in our ecosystem. Now let's set the scene. It's 9 a.m. on Monday, your organization wakes up and find that every API endpoint that we have been using so far has been vanished overnight. Not broken, not slow, simply gone. Now let's imagine hour by hour. First hour, your e-commerce site still displays product, but every add to cart click fails silently. The third hour, your e-commerce site still displays product, but the warehouse discovers inventory numbers that have been updated since Friday. They are shipping products that you don't actually have it in your inventory. Now let's imagine the sixth hour. Finance realizes bank feeds have stopped. Your CFO is making critical decisions making on 3-year or 3-day old data in a business that moves by hour, that moves very quickly. Imagine a scenario after a day. Technicians are back to paper forms, IoT sensors are screaming data, but without any endpoint, nowhere to go. Your carefully orchestrated supply chain system has collapsed into email threads and spreadsheets. A decade of digital transformation have been reversed overnight. We are back to square one. That reminds me of our favorite quote, that very old quote. Software is eating the world, but APIs are fork and knife. And that's the point. This is every API call we taken for granted, suddenly visible through its absence. Now, human beings are resourceful. In our API-less world, workarounds would emerge, and each one exactly reveals why we needed API in its first place. The first alternative that comes to my mind is the data entry renaissance. Someone just said that, let's hire people to do the data entry. We just ran the figures for a mid-size retail client. They usually processed 47,000 transactions across 12 different legacy systems. Even with the fastest data entry, that is one transaction per minute, it would take 300 full-time employees. That would roughly cost around $8.5 million per year. On the other side, the API infrastructure would just complete this task in $120K. Now, even if we just take aside the money factor, but the time becomes the crucial factor. By the time data comes into picture, it already is stale. Still, are you in favor of API or not? Let's think through for the second option. Let's just connect directly our database. I have seen this attempted. At first instance, it seems very viable thought, very doable. Talented developer, elegant SQL, that works beautifully, but for few weeks or for few days. Then schema update happens, column name changes, relationship changes, underlying application structure changes, and then everything starts failing. Corrupt record that cascades through the system, either causing a problem in the financial closure process or directly leading to the errors. Again, to rectify this is a bigger thing. Now let's think of the third approach. Again, a very thoughtful approach about RPAs. Everyone, we have been using RPAs as a next level technology. We have thought RPAs as a robots that click through the interface just like humans. There are many RPAs that were built just to directly work just like a human until everything works fine, until the UI changes. There are changes in the UI, button shifts, UI upgrade happens and everything starts failing. It is like teaching navigation by memorizing every footstep, but then someone rearranges the furniture. Everything, we are back to square one. So every alternative leads in the same condition. Same conclusion. API exists because these alternatives were either too slow, too fragile, or economically impossible to scale. Beyond operational chaos, something more fundamental dies without APIs. Business velocity collapses to the speed of human intervention. Every process needs a person in the loop. Innovation becomes much more economical unviable. Want to test a new sales channel? 6 months and 3 new hires. That's the higher cost. Every company becomes an island. The sophisticated ecosystem where manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and logistic providers operates as an organism, they collapse into the disconnected entities. Each one operates very on its own. But here's what really dies: the ability to experiment cheaply. APIs make innovation affordable because they make connections cheap. Want to pilot AI driven demand forecasting? Connect your ML platform to Oracle API, run a test, iterate rapidly. Without APIs, that's a 6-figure custom development project, and that's a huge cost. Now, here is where it gets genuinely exciting, because the future isn't just about APIs, it's about APIs evolving into something far more intelligent, far more autonomous. Think about where we are today. Current APIs are a sophisticated systems. It is more of a request response systems. You request something, you get in response something. The API itself has no intelligence in its place. It doesn't know why you are asking. It just answers. It just provides you with the response. Now, this is about to change entirely, and this is where it becomes fascinating. We are yet to discuss few of the interesting changes into this space. The first wave would be intelligent APIs. Embedded with AI that understands context, predicts what you need, optimizes itself. Imagine Fusion APIs that self-documents by observing usage patterns. It auto-optimizes slow queries that predicts integration failures on its own before they even cause downtime. The second wave is event-driven architecture. APIs then don't even wait to be asked. They publish, they listen, they act. When your inventory drops below threshold, your ERP system doesn't sit there waiting for a query. It fires an event automatically. Your procurement system listens and triggers a reorder. Your warehouse adjusts picking priorities. Your e-commerce platform updates availability, all autonomously, all simultaneously. Then there's semantic APIs powered by large language models that understands intent, not just syntax. Imagine telling your Oracle environment in plain English, show me all the purchase orders over $50,000 from our last quarter. The API layer translates your intent into right calls, aggregates the response, and gives you exactly what is meant, all automatically. The endpoint of all this is something I call ambient integration, a world where business users operate into unified interfaces. Developers build features without knowing which system provides what data. Integrations becomes invisible, always present, never noticed. We started today by imagining ERP without APIs, and we found real chaos. But the deeper insight isn't just about APIs. It's about what they represent, our ability to connect, adapt, and operate at the speed of modern business. The APIs that we build today are primitive, traditional compared to what's coming in future. That is intelligent, autonomous, and semantic. More importantly, ethically governed. They won't just connect systems, but they will create living digital ecosystems. As Oracle consultants, as architects, as technology leaders, we are not just implementing integrations. We are not just building infrastructure, but we are building the infrastructure in a way that will give people their time back. And that resonates quite with Orbrick's mission to save 1 billion life hours, one API call at a time. And that's the thing. Thank you.